And I'm going to say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. All the kids of every conservative in the country called panicking. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Then, by that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the 2 Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota? Isn't this on both sides?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm asking.
We don't know what condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking.
No, not at all.
You said the Democrats have
this is on. Democrats own this.
But isn't there a problem with political violence across the spectrum?
Yeah, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. That's the subject of this that we're talking about right now. Democrats own this 100%.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. And this murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving down a Provo right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it.
Who in tarnation is Charlie Kirk to have the American flag flown at half-mast until Sunday? Folks, I tried to be nice and I tried to come at this as civil as possible. But where was this energy just a few weeks back when children were mowed down in a Catholic school in Minnesota and parents had to run down the street barefooted to rescue their child from a madman armed with a gun? Where was that energy today when there was a man in Colorado mowing down students? Where was that energy in Donald Trump's first administration when there was a mass shooter in Florida? Where was that energy when those tragedies happened? Why wasn't the flag lowered to half-mast for those tragedies? But you will lower it for a man who, as far as I'm concerned, gave validity to the very thing that has caused his demise, saying that we must accept a degree of gun deaths in the U.S. to maintain our Second Amendment right. As far as I'm concerned, he spoke his own death into existence. This is asinine.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given right.
I think that pretty much sums it up right there.
The way y'all acting over Charlie Kirk's death, it makes me realize that if slave masters died and we had social media and everything, y'all would feel bad.
We're going to avenge Charlie's death in the way Charlie would want it to be avenged. They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate? And that's the question we're just going to have to ask ourselves. Now, Charlie would want us to put as much pressure on these people as possible. Dana nailed it. This is unacceptable and has to stop. And it has to stop now.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for tuning in. Alright, I know that most of you all have probably seen the reports. Charlie Kirk has been pew-pewed at a university, and the thing is, Republicans are trying to shift the blame on Democrats. Well, imagine this, you're sitting in some small town in the West and you believe strongly in your rights, the Second Amendment and law, order and patriotism, and you're very outspoken about pew-pew rights, and then you just suddenly get unalived, pew-pewed at a university in Utah. No warnings, just because of your political views. This is exactly what just happened to Charlie Kirk, and now, Republicans are saying that Democrats are to blame, and some folks are actually saying that he deserved it because of his political views, while others are saying that no one deserves this. Either way, people are burning apart in views and in division. You know, nobody actually deserved this. If you are being honest, if you are being humans, you know, he was a dad, he was a family man. It doesn't matter what his political views were, but he did not deserve this. Nobody deserves this. You know, there is freedom of speech. Everybody is entitled to his own opinion. But the problem is that Charlie Kirk's, you know, unaliving is actually being turned into a political weapon, where some Republicans are actually, you know, pointing fingers at Democrats for creating the atmosphere that led to this happening. But why are they pointing fingers at Democrats when we already have so many cases and instances of, you know, outright far-right individuals going to, you know, mass pew-pewing in churches and in hospitals and in schools? Are Republicans also to blame for that? But others are saying that, you know, Charlie Kirk's own past statements where he said that pew-pew violence might be a necessary sacrifice to protect the Second Amendment. You know, people are showing no sympathy because of that. But let me know in the comments what you think about this story and what is going on. There are also some reports that are also stating that he might actually still be alive and fighting for his life in the hospital. Let's take a look at these videos that I have sampled for you guys and what, you know, Americans are actually saying about this. I'll be back with more commentary after this. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing, hit that like button. I'm your presenter, Joel Mogisha. Let's take a look.
I'm so pissed!
Guys, this is about to get bad. This is about... he said they... Charlie Kirk. They... Who do you think they is? These people are going to blame the collective left for this. And the emotion that you see in that man, that is not an isolated thing. I actually don't think that that's a show. That was fucking... This is already an absolutely unhinged population of people. Already looking for an excuse. I don't know what comes next and how fast it's going to get here, but y'all need to listen. If you don't think something's coming, you need to get your head out of the fucking sand.
So is it the guns yet? Are we ready to be done with this yet? Is Republican Senator Mike Lee gonna make jokes about this, like he did when Melissa Hortman and her family were murdered in their fucking home? Is J.D. Vance gonna call this a fact of life and Donald Trump gonna tell us we just need to move on, like they do when little innocent children have their lives stolen from them while they're in fucking school? Because I would bet my left fucking kidney that is not what's going to happen, and that the Republican response to this will not be clamoring for gun control. So here's what I have to say on the matter. Gun violence is indiscriminate, and you know what else it is? It's fucking preventable. You know, like every other civilized country on the face of the fucking planet has done. Because would it shock you to know that in the midst of all this shit with Charlie Kirk in Utah, where, by the way, it's perfectly legal for an 18-year-old to concealed carry a firearm on a public university campus. Can't see any issue with that. Anyway, would it shock you to know that in Colorado there was another shooting that left 3 students in critical fucking condition? Like 2 weeks ago, there were children who had their lives stolen while they were praying. It's the fucking guns!
Charlie Kirk had no sympathy for the kids in Gaza. Charlie Kirk had no sympathy for inhumanely locking up my people in cages. Charlie Kirk had no sympathy for women, saying that if his daughter were to get sexually assaulted, he would force her to keep the kid. He spread and planted ideas of racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and anti-LGBTQ. However, no one should die at the hands of another man, and unfortunately that's what happened with Charlie Kirk. He was shot and killed on live TV, 4K, in front of his 2 daughters and his wife. Deepest and dearest of condolences truly to his loved ones, and especially to his wife who had to watch that live. But people need to stop acting like he was some hero and like he wasn't spreading hate and division amongst our country for years. I'm going to say this again. No one deserves to go out like he did. No one deserves to die at the hand of another man. But when you are truly only planting weeds in this beautiful garden that we call Earth, you cannot expect flowers to grow. And to all of you who are celebrating his death, there's never a reason to celebrate death.
Let's say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. Every conservative in the country called panicking.
She's a lawmaker. She's a congresswoman. And she's not the only one saying this. The Democrats are responsible for this. Fox News, Jesse Waters, the Democrats are responsible for this. They're literally telling the conservative, the right-wing viewers, the right-wing voters, the right-wing crowd to declare war on the left. And what's the result of that?
This video's in regards to Charlie Kirk. And this video's for the fucking liberals. It's war, motherfuckers. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. And spare me your fucking self-righteous bullshit lectures. I don't give a fuck. We're coming for you.
When I said earlier that I condemn violence, I will not condone violence. This is why violence only begets violence. They are blaming this on the left, blaming this on Democrats when we're not the ones that spread the rhetoric of, gun violence is okay. Charlie Kirk himself spreads the rhetoric that gun violence is acceptable. But I need you to understand the communities that are most in danger with this type of rhetoric, this type of violence being threatened, this type of war on the streets being threatened. Not people that look like me. Unless you talk to me, unless you follow me online, you won't know that I'm a leftist. I'm pretty Republican coded. When they say they're going after the left, they're going to profile people to determine who the left is. So if you are black and brown, if you are trans, if you are queer, if they feel like you're trans, if they feel like you're queer, if they feel like you're a leftist at all, then you can be a target of this violence. And no, I'm not saying that everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community or black and brown community is a leftist. That's what they think. So why do I condemn violence? It's because always in this country, when violent rhetoric gets turned up, it's always marginalized communities that pay the highest price for it. Violence only begets violence forever and always. Nonviolent civil disobedience does work. We need to do it en masse. We need to shut the system down. But now, by the actions of one man, everybody on the right is using this as an opportunity to attack. Because guess what? The people on the right, the politicians on the right, they know they're losing. They know that the nonviolent civil disobedience is working. They know that the tide is turning against them. They know that the American people are not standing for their bullshit. So they need something. They need something to take control of it and stop us. They're grabbing onto this violent act to declare war on the left. And the most ironic part of the entire thing is that everybody I hear from the left is condemning the violence, condemning the shooting, and they are now calling for more violence. It is always their rhetoric that calls for violence, and it is always the rhetoric of the left to preach nonviolence and condemn acts of violence.
I'm sorry, because am I actually seeing people say that they feel bad for Charlie Kirk? I know I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, oh, you guys shouldn't be saying this should happened. The same man who said, oh, there's a cost to liberty. When you allow gun ownership, you allow gun death. Like, tell me we're talking about the same man. Either people are talking about somebody else or they're fucking deluded. We're in a state of delusion. Like, yes, the world's fucking collapsing, but what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, everyone. Turns out, he was right. Yeah, it was worth it. It was totally worth it. I've had a freaking great day. Donald Trump came out and before he was announced passed that the prayers are there. That didn't work out either. Wow, I've had a great day. I vacuumed my house today. I went live for like an hour and 14 minutes. I went live. Yeah, my actual kind of pretty much first time. And then I get the news. And it was exciting because I spent like 2 hours on Facebook. Yeah, I know, Facebook. I don't have any friends, so don't go and try to follow me there. I don't follow anyone. I just got a couple people that I use to keep in touch with. But trolling was great today. I mean, it was the best day ever. I can't even believe I haven't been banned yet. I mean, I'm used to getting banned down there all the time. And not even once banned today. I mean, and the only sad part is Charlie didn't grow up to, have big people teeth. But, you know, life goes on, and it was fun. It was a great day. I'm sorry, Charlie. It was a 200-yard shot. That was a pro. He's a good guy. Whoever it is. Probably a Trump supporter. Like 98% of them. But, you know, thugs and pigs and whatever, prayers, whatever. I don't know all the funny sayings. I don't know. Bye, Charlie.
Need I remind you guys that the Democrats are the ones that argue about taking our guns away, but yet they are the ones shooting at us. But us conservatives are the problem. We're the mean, evil, mean ones, right? If you saw what happened to Charlie Kirk today and think that he had it coming, you're part of the problem.
With us. What are we going to do about it? How much political violence
I'm going to try and make this as short as possible, but I need everyone to listen and pay attention, okay? Just hear. All right, I had to make this video a second time because I have things to do, okay? But I want you to listen to and pay attention to what I'm saying and see if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm okay. You guys could go ahead and say, oh no, Whiskey, you're wrong. This is the information is wrong. But you can say I am wrong. But I want you to listen with as much possible because I don't make long videos and I want you to understand why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, okay? You see this crooked eye? Mother, father, and sons and daughters over there that's talking about we're at war. This is what they wanted. We're at war. No, we're not at war. We're not at war because this took place in Utah on a college campus while they're talking about guns and whatnot, and nothing but white MAGAs are there. Ain't no black. Ain't no one voting for Donald Trump. None of us were there. It was all your skin folk. All your maggots were there. So this idea that you're trying to burn into your viewers that we are going at war. No. Y'all been sitting here oppressing and suppressing and literally trying to rid this country of this cultural aspect that we've always had, that you're going to try and create this false narrative. Now I'm going to give you something else to think about. Since when has a video been that graphic and didn't have a sensitivity or warning to it? People be breaking bones and they will give you a warning, graphic, warning, sensitive content, and not a single sensitive content. They got that man's whole entire neck blown out. And they're showing it all over social media, but not TikTok, not Instagram, not Facebook, not one social media says warning, graphic content. They let it there so that way you guys could fuel this flame that is not there. Because the only one that's shooting hot ass fire out of their asses is y'all motherfuckers. We're not at war. Stop creating this false narrative in your brain thinking we're at war with you. We're not the one that called the National Guard. We're not the one that's sitting here talking about, oh, we're going to give ICE agent $50,000 if you join. No, we did not say that. We didn't want that. But here it is, you and your crooked eyes and the rest of your daddies want to sit here, bend you over and say, you better say this in order for me to do the things that I want to do.
Right now, that's the subject of this that we're talking about right now. Democrats own this.
And so I used to follow her when she would discuss a lot of the UFOs and UAPs and things like that. But yeah, that guy really caught her off guard when it came down to that question about, holding specific political parties responsible for these tragic events. She ended up bringing up, that this person is probably a sick liberal, a Democratic person. And as soon as that guy ended up bringing up the fact that that Republican person ended up killing those Democratic lawmakers, accountability went out the window completely for her. She said, no, it's not a Republican thing. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this. And I get it. We're talking about this now because this is now. What happened to those people? Yeah, that's old news now. Who cares about them, right? Who cares about them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments over this way because, accountability. Accountability.
All right, guys, there you have it. Actually, if we're being honest here, people are divided, because of how Charlie Clark actually argued in his debate. People are calling him someone who went ahead promoting bigotry and racism. But we have to be honest here. Nobody deserves, what just happened to him. Just because of your opinion, everybody is free to believe what they want to believe. Nobody deserves to be unalived because of it. Now, Charlie Kirk actually was a prominent conservative commentator, debater, was unalived at a Utah University and fell from his injuries and demise. Though there is still some reports which are saying that he might actually still be alive and fighting for his life in critical condition. Now, Republicans immediately took to social media to blame Democrats and claiming that their rhetoric actually fueled what happened. But yeah, some people are fighting back, man. Why are they being blamed for something that happened to one man when a lot of things have actually been happening with unaliving and mass pew-pewing in schools, in churches, and never has the Republicans actually came out and owned what was happening? So some Democrats also critique and point that, Kirk's own words actually might have fueled what happened to him, because in his past statements he said that pew-pew violence is necessary sacrifice for them to actually protect the Second Amendment. How do you say that on live television? So some people are calling in instant karma, because it's very, very ironical, especially to be unalived after exactly talking about pew-pew violence and pew-pew rights. And this shows that some people have zero sympathy, while others are actually saying that political views don't make someone deserve unaliving because of his views. Now, that's one thing that I think all sensible human beings actually can agree on. Regardless of your political views, it doesn't mean that, you deserve to be unalived because of them. He was a father, for heaven's sake. He had 2 kids, and he doesn't deserve unaliving because of his political views. And if there are people on the left who are actually arguing about that, you should be asking yourself the same question. Should people from the right actually come and pew-pew you and unalive you just because you don't share the same perception, you don't share the same views? You don't deserve also to be unalived because of what you believe in. But what I would argue is that people on the right always want to fight for the right to actually have and hold pew-pews in public, and people on the left have been actually advocating for control on pew-pew rights, and saying that this would actually reduce a lot of homicide and a lot of pew-pew violence in the states. And if you're looking at countries which are safe all around the globe, all around the world, those countries which come in the top 10 index of the safest countries or the safest cities in the world, you'll find that no citizen of theirs is legally allowed to actually own a pew-pew. What do you think about that? How do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that pew-pew rights are the reason and the problem why we keep on seeing a lot of pew-pew mass unaliving in different states? And do you think that maybe controlling those rights and who actually gets to own a pew-pew would actually help in keeping people safe? Let me know in the comments what do you think about this video, and Republicans trying to shift the blame on Democrats because of this incident. I'm a presenter, Joel Mogisha. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing, hit that like button. See you on the next episode.